Hey, try this again. Hopefully the app doesn't crash on me this time. It's the first time that's ever happened. So I'll try to, this may take a moment to get everything up. YouTube page right now is showing 2 live streams. Yeah, so if anybody's confused about which one, it's the one that doesn't have the custom thumbnail. I don't know what caused that to crash. Maybe it was me finally figuring out how to upload that custom thumbnail. Got a lighter here that we just published a video on unboxing it. It was packaged extremely well. One of the more well packaged lighters I can remember receiving in a while. Hold of this felt pad. It's pretty clean. Slider looks brand new. It's the Park Industries Slim lighter. And I wanted to at least get that off of there. That wick seems more structurally sound than most park lighters do. Don't think I'm going to be selling this one. I think I'm going to be giving this one to a friend. At least offering it to him. It is high polish. Has a very nice enameled emblem. It says Realtor, National Association of Real Estate Boards. 4 colors counting the silver in the background. 3 colors of paint. Make sure and say hello if you're in the chat. Let me know where you're from, what it is that brought you to the live chat, what your interest in vintage Petrol lighters is, or Petrol lighters in general. Trying to figure out how I might be able to hope there's not any confusion. I hope that other live stream isn't still open. No, probably not. Not having either one of these live streams show up in the back office that I can log into. I was going to try to erase that first one. It's kind of confusing to me. Like I said, I've never seen that happen before. I've never had a problem with a live stream or the app crashing on me like that when I'm trying to do the live stream. So I'm trying to let that one load, see if it'll even load. But hopefully everybody makes it over here to the correct one. But say hello, let me know you're here. And since that is taking a while to load there, I'm going to go back, see if I can get this other one to load. Okay, yeah. So hopefully anybody that goes to that first one that I attempted will find their way to this one. But this is what we're dealing with, a Park Industries insert, which I had thought that I would go ahead and just completely disassemble it, but I think I'll just leave it. Like I said, I'm not selling it. And That is in, looks like brand new condition. It's just had dust. The flint has adhered to the wheel at one point. But we're going to try to put a flint tube in there, and I'll try to keep this all going downhill here so that we do not contaminate our cotton wadding or anything else with the flint dust if that all breaks free. So we'll just see. Before I begin, I will say that the most difficult flint tubes to clear, some of those that I have had the hardest time with, have been Park Industries. I'm convinced that there's something about the way that the flint, the ferrocerium, oxidizes in conjunction with the soft aluminum metal that, or lightweight aluminum metal. I don't know what the pertinent character of the metal would be to this conversation necessarily, but I am nearly certain that there's something about the characteristics of the expanding ferrocerium and the aluminum that make these lighters more prone, not necessarily more prone to, for the flint to fail in the tube, but more to you not being able to clear the tube because the flint is petrified in there so hard. Now, while I've just been sitting there turning this ever so, not really putting any pressure on it, see if I can zoom in here. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe too far for me to go. There you can see that there's flint dust falling out of that tube already without me even really trying. So maybe, just maybe, this will be an easier job than so many other park lighters have been for me. We'll see. In the short, which you can find that short, published it just a few minutes ago. It's actually a two-part, each of them about 2.5 minutes long. There you can see the flint that we've got to come out of there so far. And I'm going to have to step out of the room real quick and grab a couple of cloths to mop this up with. I wasn't so sure if there wasn't somebody at the door, the way it sounded, but I don't see anybody. So there you can see the filthiness of the drill bit. And I probably also ought to ask, is sound and everything good? If you're not hearing me, you should be. So I'm going to get, well, after I kind of scrape the sides of that tube with this bit, I don't feel anything really It appears to be clinging to the sides of that tube. So I want to kind of mop some of this up. And clean it up. And then blow that tube out a little bit. Hopefully. Then we can fuel it up, get a flint installed, and get our lighter functioning so that I can make a video and then give it away. So we'll test this with our spring. And our spring is still not making it up there. We've still got apparently some little small bits clinging to the side of that tube somewhere, keeping that spring from coming all the way up. Sure. Doesn't feel like there's anything there. I never set the chat over here on the iPad where I'm monitoring this from, so got that set up now. Like I said earlier, make sure to say hello, let me know where you're from. And we still got that spinning freely. So we've got something, and it may require a different angle. See if I can find, I don't have a pick that long, but I've got some wires that I have shaped and used for various purposes. I'm bound to have one of here somewhere. Bear with me if you would a moment. Where all my little wires have gone. I need something long and relatively straight that's got a little bit of give to it. Boy, this is frustrating. Hello, Cameron. Glad to have you with us this afternoon. Yeah, I'm trying to do a little bit of lighter maintenance here, but can't find a particular tool that I need. Appreciate you saying you love the videos. What kind of lighters do you collect or use or work on yourself? Or what is your particular what is the appeal of the channel to you? Ah, here we go. Down here in this big bowl, I've gone through almost everything, and there's one of those wires. Ah, but it's not straight. I've got it hooked on both ends. Well, I'm gonna find one sooner or later. Hello, Mystify Mac. Glad to have you with us. So you've been watching the channel the last few days. What brought you to the channel in the first place? Are you a lighter collector? Did YouTube suggest us to you? Well, I can't believe I'm not finding one of those metal hooks. But I'm going to find one sooner or later. If I have to search down the... I've got several longer ones somewhere that I can cut down and make one, but this is not to steal your name there, Mac, but this is mystifying. Usually got those little rods all over the place, and right now I can't find one anywhere. Alright, now I'm going to have to remember what I did with all those longer ones. Alright guys, bear with me just a minute. Alright, I'm getting to the point I'm about ready to throw something. Prearranged a lot of stuff here lately. And I may have misplaced some stuff in the process. I doubt if I can, I don't know, maybe I could straighten that one back out. I don't remember what I made that for. Okay, that'll work. Broke it off, but that'll give us a little cutting edge to spin around there. Maybe at an angle that the bit has not. Let me see here. It's considerably smaller, so if And I didn't think about that. We had so much falling out of there earlier. I thought we had broken all the way through, but that's probably all it is that's the piece that just broke off. I think actually we're just not quite through all of it. So I'd probably go back to that. Go back to the bit now and we'll probably get there. I thought we'd broken through because the way it all came crashing out of there. Usually when you can see so much of it like that. But yeah, I probably should have known. I should have expected to see a bigger chunk. And if not, then a lot more dust. Cameron says, I just love the process and seeing all the different cool mechanisms. Yeah, that's me. I like all the mechanisms. That's kind of the, in addition to the fact that I use them, it's the mechanisms that really intrigue me. Okay, so just to measure how far roughly we have to go, we can judge by our fingernail there. See that we're still a little bit of distance. But not so far that if we keep dropping a little flint dust out of there here and there, we should be able to get there eventually. My weak old hands, I may have to stop and take a break or two. And we could put this in a drill and maybe have an easier time. I think we're close enough now that maybe that won't be necessary. I hope. I know a lot of people are really sensitive to that kind of stuff. Ted Ballard told me to never put an automatic drill in a lighter, but I've done it with more than not. I've used automatic drills in a lot of them, and the more that I twist this bit in this one, the more I'm prone to grab the drill right now. So we'll just let it ride on here for a minute. Just to, what do you call it, a disclaimer. There's always a possibility that that bit can grab a hold of a piece of metal and twist it away you don't want it to and just completely rip your tube out of there or make it come unjointed. There's a lot of things that can happen. So, most of the time it's not an issue, but, I've ruined a lighter or two. I think probably anybody who's worked on many has ruined one here and there. So just keep that in mind. Try not to put as much pressure as just let the tool do the cutting. And we're still going to, once we get the tube clear, we'll still need to clear that, kind of clean that wire or the file wheel off. You can see where that flint has adhered to the tube. I don't know if you could perceive that when it happened, but you kind of felt it give, and I was kind of letting it spin just to make sure it was getting all that out of the tube. Just like we were talking about doing earlier when I prematurely thought that the tube was clear. Dust, and I enjoy dealing with this dust and old flint debris about as much as I enjoy touching all that old paper. It's nasty. Hit that with a little air. Now, see that file wheel. I'm not sure if that's the spot. If not the only spot, the main spot. That looks like it came out. Like I said, you can see that wick looks pretty clean other than some dust contamination. And I don't see a whole lot there that looks like this lighter has been sparked. Just kind of discoloration from age, dust, and time. So now get a flint out here. I wonder if there is any negative effect. Like I said, I'd like to give this lighter as a gift to a friend. I wonder if there's anything negative about engraving an old item like this. I should have stuck the felt pad back on there before I did that, but oh well, the effect's the same. There's felt pad, flint spring and screw. But I would like to have this engraved maybe on the back. But I don't know if there's you know, if there's already like pitting, even if it's minor. If there's pitting in the chrome plated brass, it's gonna make it get worse in a hurry, or I don't know. It's pretty good shape. Just some scratches, scuffs. Anyway, Park Slim. I don't know if Park officially had a name for their smaller lighter. I've always called them Park Slim. got a couple of messages, comments on the archive of yesterday's live stream from Mark Burris. And Mark, I've got some Mother's, is that what it's called? I've got some Mother's mag and aluminum polish there. I just forgot I had it. So if we got time here today, I may use some of that on here. Kind of forgot or lost track of how many. I think I've used about 3 droppers. So we'll probably do a couple more. But I know we missed some of our regulars, so hopefully get an opportunity for some more folks to hop on today. I'm glad to have you guys here, though. Cameron, Mystify. O. Arp Henningsen, glad to have you here, sir. As always, seeing you here other than just on the Facebook Lighter pages or Facebook Lighter groups. MZM, glad to have you here as well. MZM says these lighters are cool. I just hate how fast they evaporate. That's an issue. It is. But for most of us that use them, MZM, you just kind of get used to it. Get used to filling them up. But I'll say this. Zorro is taking some old designs and improving them to the point that here is an automatic roller Petrol lighter, clone of the Cygnus. That at the last fueling I gave it, it lasted, not the last one, we're still on it, but the one previous to that lasted more than 3 months. Crazy. So with today's technology and proper engineering, you know, I do think it's possible to keep this sort of pocket flame or portable flame alive. Maybe not quite as full as we need it. I have to see my buddy that I want to give this to. He's got a YouTube channel. Maybe I can tag him. But it would be nice to have an engraving machine to be able to engrave this kind of stuff. A little bit of a rough roll of the wheel there as it's getting going. And also a little bit of vapor like you saw there on the first one, but now appears to be money. I think that was a brand new lighter. Not anymore. Take a look at the chat over here. Olarp says he hopes everybody's doing fine. MZM says he thinks laser engraving on that would work or be just fine. Yeah, I could tell some funny stories, lighter related, or at least cannabis related, about this particular friend. But I got a few people who watch the channel who know me in real life, and I don't want to give away any secrets, so give away any of anybody else's secrets is what I'm saying by talking about the person that I intend to give this lighter to. But Park lighter, made in USA, slim, aluminum insert, typical aluminum insert with the plated, I think, steel windscreen and leaf spring. By the feel of it, I think this case and lid are chrome plated brass, but I am a little bit perplexed why the inside of the lid is silverish. I did clean it out and I didn't see any paint come off on the towel, but I don't know. Maybe it is lighter, maybe it's aluminum. I think though when I've seen, I don't know that you can, that appears to be plated, not polished, and I'm not sure that you can plate aluminum, so I don't know, maybe they used another kind of metal. But this is definitely a heavier case than, so many of the aluminum cased park lighters that you're familiar with from the Murfreesboro era, which I'm assuming this is the this was the Murfreesboro era. That's the way the insert is marked. Precision made by Park Industries, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, USA. So those of you who are familiar with the Park article over on the Toledo Bend VCL page, that would, being stamped Murfreesboro, would indicate that this lighter happened around 1960 or later, because that's when the company was bought and moved from Springfield, Illinois to Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Apparently by a New Jersey owned company. Nice little enameled emblem though. Not sure, is that a globe? Not sure what is depicted in the middle other than the word Realtor. And then National Association. It's hard to see through the camera. National Association of Real Estate Boards. The nick down here. Ding, probably be a better word for it. And plenty of surface scuffs. That you guys that collect, those high polished Zippos. Very hard to get one that doesn't have scuffs just because it's such a mirror finish. But this lighter didn't even have a box. Brand new, obviously, or was, before we fired it up. But has suffered storage wear over the years. Undoubtedly. I wonder, grab a couple more towels. Not sure if I have any gloves left or not. What I did with that box of gloves. I want to see if I can use some of this Mother's polish on this. And see if it'll shine that up any better. When Mark Burris commented on the archive of yesterday's stream, he mentioned that Brasso probably made one that was made for aluminum, and I don't know, when I used it yesterday, it says aluminum on this one, so it says practically everything there. Brass, well, it doesn't say silver or gold. Brass, copper, stainless, chrome, aluminum, pewter, bronze. But anyway, no problem. We're going to test it out here. We're going to test it out here with some of this Mother's polish anyway. And I'm just going to be really careful. I don't want to get that polish over here in the roller or anywhere that I can't just wipe it off. So I'll try to be more careful than I was yesterday. Yesterday I had the lighter completely stripped down, so it wasn't really an issue. I've also used flits in the past. I know our buddy Thomas J. Heald is a proponent. And regional distributor, and maybe the president of the company too. I don't know. But anyway, I'm sure he'll tell you about it if you need any referrals about flits. I know there's plenty of people in the Zippo community who use flits. See it. What's the word I'm looking for? Boy, that really is bringing some dirt up, bringing some blackness. Let's see how. Yeah, it does seem like it's doing a better job than the Brasso did anyway. But I know in the Zippo community there's plenty of people that use flits, so if you need a recommendation, you're not going to have to go far to find one for flits. There's all kinds of people that use it. I've used it. I've used this Mother's mag in aluminum, which I don't remember what I bought it for. May have been when I bought that big group of aluminum block lighters a couple years ago. Well, this is I kind of want to strip this lighter back down again now. Try this again. I think that Mother's did a better job for sure. But I'm just not going to get it all at all over there close to that roller. But we'll try these other two. We'll try the Brasso and the Mother's mag and aluminum. We'll try that on some of these other aluminum block lighters we got around here. During another live stream, we'll strip one of them down. I don't know, maybe we even strip down that hexagon. What is that? I think it's a hexagon shape. I've got an aluminum block lighter listed on eBay. I've had it for probably on there for a year or so now. But before I listed it, I was debating whether or not to polish it. It seems like pretty much everybody said no, but if we get bored enough, I could always pull that down, polish it, take new listing photos. D. Tirabassi and Sons. Our buddy Friedrich Steele also commented about that company. Apparently they're still in business. It's kind of hard for me to tell from the Google return when I searched it. The AI response seemed to say they were in business, but it didn't bring back a listing for the business, which I thought was kind of curious. Not some great embellishment though or anything. Just D. Tirabassi and Sons. You can imagine for a business owner, that's a cool thing to put your name on an item like that and then be able to hand that out to your clients. It's a moment of pride, I'm sure. So anyway, that may not be the last time we polish that one either. But I'm going to put it up for now before I make a mess out of this. Something sticky all over the jar when I got it out. Mother's Mag and Aluminum. Just from what little polishing we've done here over the last 2 days, I'd say that definitely put a shine on that aluminum better than the Brasso did. And the Brasso says it's for aluminum. Who knows? Let me check back in on the chat over here. Mystify Max said, just got a vintage Imco. I have an old Ronson on the way too. Cool. What is it an Imco 6800 triplex? Or is it the 6700 Junior? I've had the triplex Super. Or yeah, I've had the triplex Super. Or is it, I've had the 6800, whichever one that is. I've had a few of those, although the most recent, well, I've got it right here. It is the triplex Super, isn't it? Imco triplex. Oh, is that 60? That is 6700, isn't it? Yeah, the Super is 6700. So I don't even remember the last time I fueled this one. Might as well do it though. Imco's good lighters. Maybe I'll get a chance to use it here. Yeah, looks like I'm going to be alone for the evening, so I thought about maybe doing another live stream later. Never done one in the evening. But I got about 1,000 other video projects I could work on too. So we'll see. Or lighter repair projects. Interesting to me that automatic penguin Cygnus that you see in the background, the silver tone one, runs out of fuel even though the paperwork was bragging about how much fuel it holds. It runs out of fuel just as fast as the regular Cygnus did when that Zorro Cygnus lasts so long. Like I said, well over a month, or well over 3 months. Looks like we may be a little short. Don't feel any moisture coming out down there on my finger just yet. But you would sure think the weight of it by now would have to be coming to bear. So we'll check it out here in a moment. What's the old Ronson you got, Mystify? Cameron says he got a new Imco recently also. Mystify says the Imco has a very mechanical feel. It's pretty unique compared to a Zippo. Yeah, the Imcos are cool, and there's a lot of different designs, but then there's a lot of kind of variations on very similar designs too. And yeah, how fast they evaporate, that is definitely an issue. Mystify says he has some mothers he's going to use on the Ronson he bought, going to try to paint it with some enamel. Oh yeah? You got experience with that kind of thing, or this your first shot? First chance? First attempt? There's a few guys over in the Zippo Facebook groups, Zippo Addicts. That's the main one, but there's a few others. But there's a few guys over there that repaint Zippos. There's one guy in Russia that's done it forever. His name is Vlad Artsmith. There's a guy that I think he's in Alabama, and he doesn't do it anymore, a guy named J.G. Moore. But then there are a couple of other fellas, a guy named Cody Euler, and I think the other one was Brandon Noel. I may be getting confused about that second one. But I think that's right. I think both of those guys I've seen in the Facebook lighter groups painting or repainting Zippos that have lost their paint. Really cool, you know. A lot of people don't like that sort of thing, but you know, you refinish cars, you refinish everything else. As long as everybody's open and honest about the condition and that kind of thing is disclosed, and I don't have an issue with it. I think it's cool. A couple of years ago, it seemed like it lit a lot easier, more efficiently, less whiffs with the windscreen open. But I don't know that I really used it enough afterward to see if that bears out or not. Mystify says, I also ordered a Douglas field lighter. They have O-ring seals that make the fuel not evaporate as quick. Yeah, and that's the Douglas field. Is that that's a copy of an old Douglas, isn't it? Hello, Thomas. Glad to have you with us, Thomas Connolly. Vintage is Ketos. How do you pronounce that? Vintage is Ketos. He says, nice. I don't know if he was talking about the lighter I had at the time. Cody asks, do you happen to know anyone who makes custom lighters? I don't. I've got a few custom lighters, with some of them with custom engraving from the factory, and a few others that like custom etching that ZF77 Outdoors did. I don't think he's really doing that anymore. I hope that he's back in good health. I noticed that he's published a video or two. I haven't seen him on a live stream in a while, but I'd heard, I don't know, a few weeks ago that he was having some health problems. So I hope he's doing well again. But no, I don't really know anybody that does custom, but I would be interested in either figuring out how to engrave them myself, or I would like to have the ability to engrave some of these old lighters. And this seems like it's lighting really well now, really consistently and dependable. Olarp says to MZM, if you need a lighter that doesn't evaporate, look for a Kawi Classic or Ronnie. All right, Olarp, you're going to have to educate me. What stands out about either of those? I'm assuming they're both Petrol lighters. Do they both have really good sealing systems for vintage lighters compared to most vintage lighters? Mystify says, I got a 6700 Super, and the Ronson is a wartime model. Oh, that's cool. Is that a Whirlwind or Standard? Seems like most of the wartime models were Whirlwinds, but it seems like I've seen Standards as well. Mystify says he's painted a few model cars, but never a lighter. I painted some model cars when I was a kid, but the damage to my hands that 25 years at the U.S. Postal Service did, I don't think would allow me to have the steadiness and fine detail that I would need to do that kind of work. But I am interested in those who can, and have toyed with the idea of having a lighter repainted here or there. Have you guys checked out any of our longer shorts lately? I'm always being urged by YouTube to do different formats, videos, and so that's one thing that we've changed a little bit here lately, is doing some vertical format longer shorts with some of these projects, and then just cutting them up into 2, 3, 4 videos, making a little series out of it. They have the root system with no cotton and a wick you don't have to change. German KW. Okay, KW. I'm not familiar with that lighter though. So it's it uses fluid though. Yeah, so it's going to have to be tightly sealed like a Scripto. I'm not familiar with that lighter. I don't remember ever seeing it. Olarp, you got one? You got any you can show us? You guys hung out in any other live chats recently? I mentioned ZF77 Outdoors. Trying to Zippo Lions Den. Has he done any live streams? The professor was here in the stream yesterday. I don't know if I think he's done some streams, but maybe it's been a while back. I'll have to go check that out. Root system. I've seen that somewhere before. It may have even been you explaining this to me before, Olarp. So I apologize if I'm reintroducing questions that have already been answered. Fueled up our IMCO XXX 6700 Super. We also cleared the flint tube in this Park Slim with an enameled emblem for National Association of Real Estate Boards. If anybody's got a suggestion for a laser printer, an affordable one, let me know. Would love to have the ability to engrave. What I would especially like the ability to be able to do is also engrave like graphics. I don't want to paint anything or anything like that, but I'd like to be able to get a little creative. You could make a whole hobby of just park lighters. Never look at anything on eBay, never turn your head at an antique or vintage shop unless it was a park lighter. you can still find plenty to keep you excited, keep you engaged. July 24th. Oh, so we're here recently. All right. All right, OLARP. I'm going to have to go look it up right now then. Let's go find this. I don't know if any of you are, well, I'm sure that some of you are. This is a great page right here. Vintage lighters and matches. You should definitely go look that one up. And get over here where we need to be. All right, let's see. We've got OLARP's recent posts. KW Ronnie. Okay, there you go. Well, you really just posted it. So that is interesting. Trying to zoom in here. Okay, that's got a little guard in front of the wick, it looks like. Yeah, that just looks like. So can you hear the fuel sloshing around in there, OLARP? That's cool. Hello, Andres Lotos. Glad to have you with us. I don't understand. See if I can translate this here in the app. I don't think I have the ability here to translate this, Andres. Oh, here we go. Okay, your first one says healthy. Are you wishing as well? I appreciate that. Let's see if this. I'm not trying to. I hope you don't feel like I'm putting your English on blast or anything, Andres. I'm just trying to understand it. And this app doesn't isn't wanting to work with me very well. And now I can't even get the other one highlighted. Yeah, so I apologize, Andres. I would really like to communicate with you, but I'm I barely speak Okie English myself, and so I apologize. I can't. With the translator, if it'll let me translate, then I can usually at least we can get our point across. But whatever's happening on this iPad right now is not going to let that happen. Um, Also not sure why. I got all messages showing up over here and different messages showing up over here. Mystify said, well, let me see if I can highlight And that still didn't say negative thing. Mystify said, I didn't realize you had an eBay. We know those would be good, usable lighters. Always questionable getting one with little info. You're talking about these lighters that I've got right here? Mystify? Yeah, that's my aim with. That's why I started the channel in the first place, so that I could have a video to embed into each listing showing you that these lighters work. Where you're right. You read it all the time where it says this is a working lighter and it's not, or where they say I'm sure it will work, all it needs is fuel and flint. Well, yeah, maybe all it needs is fuel and flint after you dig out the old flint and rewick it, and so yeah, there's definitely more that goes into getting a lighter up and running than just buying one on eBay. And that's also where the name came from, Dependable Flame. I wanted folks who were buying our lighters to know they were dependable. If you buy a lighter for us that is sold as a good working lighter, which is pretty much every single lighter we buy. Sometimes I'll sell lighters off in lots that aren't in working condition, but they're always noted as such, where the staple of what we do is get lighters up and running, show you how to do it yourself, but also then sell those lighters that we put back into working order. Hello, Friedrich. Glad to have you with us. I just mentioned you a minute ago. Yours must be tickling. Olarp says when it is next to empty, you can hear the petrol in there. That's interesting. It's, I wonder what the purpose. So it was that whole system. It was marketed as such that it didn't use wadding. So I guess if it doesn't use wadding, then it uses more. It should you should be able to put more petrol in there, right? I guess the key would be, how did they keep it without limiting how much petrol was in there? How did they keep it from coming out the wick? How did they regulate it at the wick, Olarp? Is there something special, or you just have to make sure that it's not leaning that direction? Leaning forward and down toward the wick. Mystic says next one I get will probably be a block scroll wheel. You talking about aluminum block lighter? I'm a big fan of aluminum blocks, especially the Cygnuses. Well, that's the rare whiff with the Cygnus. Hey, Friedrich, you asked me a question yesterday. If I can figure out, give me just a minute, Friedrich. I may be able to answer your question from yesterday. Yes, I can. I've got a lighter here that's damaged, Friedrich. Fuel screw's damaged, and I couldn't get that screw off. Heartbreaking. Never seen one marked like that either. So for it to be damaged like that was, like I said, well, I shouldn't say for it to be damaged like that, for me to damage it like that. But is that what you're looking for? Doesn't look like it's in too bad a shape. Lighter, it's hard to say. Does look like it was used. There's definitely some corrosion or oxidation, some discoloration. Sure that I cleaned it up. If there was, and I just dropped the flint out of there too. But a really nice lighter, which is actually the companion. Companion to I'll set it back there in the background. Give me just a second here. Let me get some things arranged. Still got errant flint dust. Let me catch back up here. OARP says correct. The wick goes into the snuffer and prevents evaporating. Okay. I know a ton of the KW lighters just use a special wick, but a liquid petrol fuel tank. Okay, that's the part. Well, I will send that to you then, sir. And what I will do is send that. I'll just send the whole thing. And you do what you want with it as you wish. If you need other parts, and I'll send you the box with it too. I want to take a look at these together though. You can see where this lighter that I just got, that I've been polishing on the last couple of days, you can barely see that engine turn design. It's a lot more prominent on this small version. Both of them have the fluted rollers. Marked with the similar script Cygnus. Like I said, that one says small up above there. So I'll send you that, Friedrich, and also got something else here that if you're interested, I've been holding back for when I had something to send you. Found this at a local antique place. It's been a while, I don't know, sometime here in the last year. I like finding stuff with my name on it, so I thought you might enjoy that. But I'll get those in the mail to you. Yeah, I've thought about you a lot here lately, Friedrich, because I've still got a couple articles I've been meaning to write as well about articles that I asked you questions about months ago. And I'm not sure exactly. I may have all evening here until I'm interrupted, but I may have about 20 minutes. So if I cut it short, I apologize. I appreciate all of you joining us. And like I said, if anybody wants to hop on later, get on Facebook, let me know. I think I've got this evening free and could hop back on once my phone is replenished of its battery. But I'm not going anywhere just yet. Let me see what the catch up on the chat here. Friedrich said, I have a near new short one, but somehow the seller lost the flint screw. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, I hope yours is. I think you asked in the message if it was silver tone. Did you have a box for it? If not, there's you a box. And then, like I said, also lighter's worth of spare parts. I'll get with you on about where to send it, but no, you don't owe me anything. Um, yeah, yeah, there's been one of those. Um, Friedrich mentions them being sold as man and wife pair, his and hers. It's like some of the park sets were. And there's been one or two of those listed on eBay for a while, but a really cool design. Really stands out, when it's not been used, just been practically worn smooth like this one has. Here we polished this one, and it's still very, very hard to see it. Cool though. Cool to see lighters in different conditions, different ages, different characteristics. Um, Olarp says, time for the old man to go to bed. Hope you all have a great day. Olarp, glad to have you with us, man. Glad to see you. We'll see you down the road somewhere soon in a video or a short or a live stream or in the Facebook groups. Friedrich says, that's pretty neat. Don't see my name too often, as it's not common in the States. Yeah, I can imagine. Uh, we've got a pretty prominent funeral home here in the area, but they spell it a little bit different. So when I saw that, like I said, I don't even remember now where I found that ashtray, but when I saw it and saw that it was spelled exactly the same as yours, I thought, well, I need to pick that up. I have moved everything to the opposite corner of the room recently to make things more convenient, but I'm still trying to get everything located. Oh yeah, Friedrich also brings up that Penguin is still in business. That is pretty cool. I'll have to mention that in a future video. Glad to know also, Friedrich, that you're paying attention. I don't know how many people are paying that much attention to the conversation that's going on during the videos, but you definitely heard me question whether or not they were in business. So yeah, that is cool to see. Slider is had a tendency to make a liar out of me more often than most Cygnuses. I have said before that I thought they were impervious to vapor lock, and I don't know if this would still be suffering from vapor lock, but this one has definitely had a miss or two on here today. Well, I just honestly, I screwed up that fuel screw, Friedrich. It makes me feel sick about the whole lighter. So unless you don't want it, I'm just going to send you the whole thing with the box, so that I don't have to feel sick about what I did to that fuel screw. Then if I ever run into needing a roller, I can come and beg you for it. I think I've already got a, short uh, parts lighter. I do need. Are you the one, Friedrich, that told me? I can't remember. It was either you or Olart, maybe both. Have you cut gaskets? You buy gaskets material off of Amazon and cut it? If so, what do you use to cut it? Well, I really appreciate that, Friedrich. I'm glad, and I know that different people pay varying degrees of attention. You know, there may be some folks that pop into a video and like it immediately. They may even leave a comment, but they don't watch for any length of time or pay any real attention to what's going on in it. There are other people that may sit there and watch a lot of it every day and never comment, never like, never, respond in any way. But, I make these videos because when I first started doing this, there I just couldn't find the material I wanted to see. If I could have got on YouTube and had people showing me how to repair lighters, how to do certain things, it would have saved me a lot of time. So, I've learned a thing or two, and I'm trying to pass that on. But it's just the fun and kind of camaraderie. That's kind of what it's. I remember when I very first started publishing videos every day during the week, back in it was the fall of 2020. Um, I was already uh, have can't find the words I'm looking for. I was already publishing. That's the word I was looking for. I was already publishing more videos more often at that point, and I'd gotten some advice from ZF77 to just make my videos a little bit longer. I hadn't really given any thought. I was just trying to make little short, concise videos. He says you're gonna be better off in the long run if you'll make those at least 8 minutes. So started doing that. And that's basically it. 8 minutes, and I started publishing every weekday. And one of the very first encouragements that I got was our friend. I'm drawing a blank right now. Oh my gosh, I can't believe. Our Boo Rock Beer. Yeah, we're friends on several different um, social medias under different names of his, but Boo Rock Beer was the name I knew him under that he commented on our YouTube videos. And he sent me an email one day, and he told me that that this channel had become a very important part of his daily routine. And that's what I was aiming for, because that's kind of what I was doing at the time. I had kind of a routine that I did in my own life where, I got up and, I prayed, I read the Bible, I ate breakfast, and I got on YouTube. And I had a few things that I kept track of on YouTube. If there were new videos, but YouTube was kind of where I kept up with my current events. And so it resonated with me. That's what I was trying to do, was become a part of, like-minded people's day. So anyway, I appreciate that, Friedrich. That is very meaningful. And I know you pay attention, like I said, because you're constantly asking me questions or sending us a link to something that came up in the conversation, and I appreciate that. It definitely adds to all of our experience here on the channel. Let's see. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Never know when you're going to need this or that. But like I said, I feel sick about that lighter. I've got a few others. I can think of maybe, it's not many. It's not very many lighters. I can think of a few, maybe 5. I'm only thinking about 3 or 4 as I sit here. But There've definitely been some fuel screws that I couldn't get open that were damaged that bothered me, but that's one of most of them I didn't damage. Most of them I tried to open after they'd already been damaged. That one I damaged. That one definitely a worse feeling than the others. Yeah, the old short music. Yeah, a lot of country music, a lot of Red Dirt, Cross Canadian Ragweed, John Fulbright. Love that stuff, man. And I can put some of that the way that they've got shorts set up now. I can use some of that music in my videos again, depending on what kind of video it is, whether I've got affiliate links set up in it or not. So, but yeah, I love all that. That was me sitting back in that house in Midwest City by myself, um, working on lighters, listening to music, and you know, a healthy amount of vape and hitting the pipe. What are you referring to that you used the hollow punch set from Harbor Freight for, Friedrich? There you go. That says that's what I do kind of each morning. I choose a lighter and a pen and catch up on videos to start the day. It says I've had luck hitting stuck fuel screws with Kroll oil and then some heat. Interest. Oh, to make gaskets. Okay, gotcha. Harbor Freight hole punch. Okay. And do you get your gasket material off of Amazon? I got the 20% warning a minute ago. So not only that, my wife could walk in the door. Like I said, I don't expect her until sometime late this evening, but so I'll probably go ahead and get off here. Like I said, if enough of you hit me up on Facebook, we can always hop back on. I'd love to get back on and chat with you. Amazon and AutoZone. Okay, I didn't even think about checking AutoZone. Curious to see how well this Cygnus holds its fuel with not having a fuel gasket at all. To be honest with you, I think that this seals just as well as one does with the paper gasket. But I want the paper gasket just because I want a seal in there. I don't want it to look, I want it to set at the proper depth. Anyway, appreciate all of you guys. Glad to have Friedrich, Olarp, Mystify, Mac, Andres, Thomas Connolly, MZM, Cameron Nace, and Cameron and Mystify. Glad. Thank you, fellas, for being here. There for a while, it was just you fellas. Man, I don't remember either one of you guys being here before, so appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. Think you lose a day or so with the paper gasket? What about with the rubber? Theoretically, the rubber should buy you weeks, it seems like, but for some reason doesn't always seem to be the case. I agree, Friedrich. It is a family. Some of them we haven't seen in a long time. We saw Naphtha yesterday. Did not see Azrael. I don't remember the last time. Seemed like maybe we heard from Azrael the time before that. But there are some that we haven't heard from in a long time. I think 30% more than paper. Yeah. We'll see. Maybe I can figure out a Do you have a source to buy flat rubber O-rings? Our buddy David Ward hit me up in the comments last week, said he uses rubber O-rings on his. But I didn't ask if he's got a flat one or if they're just the round kind. Yeah, well, if worn thread's an issue, then this might be a. But you know, it feels like it threads down real snug and tight. You know, it catches pretty good. So let's see. Can't even remember now when I filled it. I may have to go back and watch the video. Was that yesterday or the day before? Yesterday maybe? Or maybe it was Friday. Anyway. Oop, there's another miss. But appreciate you guys joining us, and we'll check back in again soon. And check out those longer form shorts. Of course, we'll still have those shorter shorts at noon every day, and then the horizontal, longer 8 to whatever 15-minute videos as they warrant. So check them out. Until next time.